Hello, Mzansi. It's 2 p.m. today, and you know, it's time for Game On. My name is Brian Mofokeng, sitting in for Sizwe Mbena, brought to you by Hollywood Bets. Today, we have a wonderful show lined up for you yet again. We'll be talking about the PSL Awards that took place this past Sunday. Also talking about the Euro UEFA 2024. Such drama, so much drama. We'll also be talking about the starting 11 for both gentlemen. That is my legends here. That is talking about Jerry Scosan alongside Shane McGregor. But first of all, let's welcome Shane McGregor to talk about the UEFA Euro. Shane, your overall impression?
Yeah, it's been very good. You know, I've watched a lot of the games as much as I can, but it's been very good for me. The one thing that has stuck out in my mind is the way the so-called smaller nations are catching up to the bigger nations. There's been easy walkover games where 3-4-0, 5-0, you know, things like that in the past. Now it's a lot closer. I mean, take Slovenia, for instance. This last week, they came up against England, 0-0, gave as good as they got. You know, basically qualified from their group as the third best team. And if you look at the nation itself, how many players they got, compared to the Englands, the Spain, the Portugals, it's nothing compared to that. So they've done well. Their goalkeeper, obviously one of the best keepers around, Oblak, you know, he's been different class. But for me, the vast difference between the bigger and the smaller ones has now become a lot closer, which is a good thing for me, you know. Football needs that, and you can just see all those players have been playing in different nations, different countries, so it does help.
Surprise for me, Austria. Their last game against Netherlands. Nobody saw that happen in the group where they eventually finished top of their group.
Well, when I looked at this, I looked at everything pre-tournament. I said that this was one of the harder groups because of that. You know, Netherlands always go into tournaments. We all know them. They are like a Belgium. They go into a tournament pushing that they're going to be up there, and they always seem to falter when the tournament starts. Austria have been different class. I mean, their game against Netherlands, they were brilliant. They seriously were brilliant. And that's what I'm saying. If you look at the smaller, so-called smaller nations compared with the big ones, it's a big difference now. Well done to them, finishing top. And it's important where you finish in these groups because of who you're going to play in the next round. So for them, job well done. Now they've got to take it on and produce that on an ongoing basis for the next few games.
It is indeed a story. I mean, they're sitting in the same group with France and Netherlands, so that's a very impressive run for them overall in this tournament. I mean, we always talk about the bigger nations coming into these competitions and somehow not really doing that well. But it's good to see that majority of those so-called big nations have advanced to the next round.
They have. France have gone through. You know, Germany have been very impressive. England have been anything but impressive, but they've qualified and they've gone through. You look at a lot of guys, you know, if you look at, for me, if you take it from now, England are lucky because they're in the bottom half of the section, so they got the easier run into the semi-finals, final. So for them, when I say lucky, they are lucky because they got that. The top group is going to be difficult because you've got all the bigger guys, the Germanys, the Spains. So it's going to be very interesting. You know, Italy, for instance, we all know what their talents are like. They come into every tournament, they're undercooked in the beginning, and they just get better as the tournament goes on. They're going to have that to happen because they come up against one of the surprise packages in tournaments of Switzerland. So that's going to be a very difficult game for them. But like I say, their talents know how to play tournaments, they know how to play tournament football, and they seem to hold their own for the latter stages of tournaments. I don't know what it's about them, but it's just the way they are. But the Swiss have been different class.
They've definitely been one of those to talk about. I mean, Denmark will take on Germany as well later on today. Let's talk about some of the star players in the competition overall. I mean, Musiala came to the party. You know, the biggest debate when the Euro started was how many of the players could have played for African nations and opted to play for the country of birth, you know, as opposed to coming and playing in here. How much of a disadvantage is it for a tournament like AFCON when you compare and look at the sort of star talent that we have in the Euros?
Yeah, it's you know, it's a big difference. Like you say, some of them could have been playing in AFCON, but they've chosen the European counterparts, you know. Musiala, for instance, I mean, he's brilliant. He's been one of the finds of the tournament. We knew about him before the tournament, but he's just stood out in this tournament. I mean, he's helped Germany. You know, they've come on and they've put on a young team and they've been different class, and he's one of them, you know, different class player. So could have been playing in AFCON,
Yeah.
but not. So Africa have lost out again. But disappointment, a lot of players. I'm not looking at the star players and the players that are going on. Musiala has been one of the fans. But you look at the England team, for instance, Bellingham. Bellingham has not been in the game. He had the so-called star status going into it, been nowhere. And there's a few more, you know. Even Mbappe has been, he broke his nose in the game, but that doesn't make any difference. You know, he hasn't been at his best. Are they going to get better as the tournament goes on? Let's hope so, for football's sake. But there's teams to watch out for. Germany, Spain. The way the Spanish are playing, a bunch of youngsters, they've come out there and just said, we're going to show you. They've changed their game style, game plan a little bit, where they're not playing the tic-tac football, keeping it. When I say tic-tac, the Barcelona style, keeping it. They're a lot more direct now, and it's working for them. It's going to be interesting, the next few rounds, but we'll see what happens. England have got to improve. That's one thing I've got to say.
You're a former striker. Cristiano Ronaldo was on the verge of another record, and he opted to play the ball to his teammate. Do players get less greedier or less selfish as they progress, or is it more of a patriotism sort of setup when you get into the national team?
I think it's just about having to win, you know. Ronaldo doesn't need to get any more records. He's got so many already, you know. For him, it's just a matter of progressing, because obviously the further you go, the more chance he's going to get of getting the goals, you know. So I think it's more that when it comes to a team, it's a team effort. There's no I in team, so it becomes a team effort. And he's been good at doing that, you know. Over the years, he's become less selfish. He's become less of I'm the player, you know. He's more a team player now. Age also counts, you know. So he's learned that with age. But you know, for me, I would play him sparingly. I wouldn't be starting him every single game. But the Portuguese manager knows what he's doing. So
N'Golo Kante, we missed out on a World Cup and he was not there. Returns to the French national team, slotting exactly where he is. 2 men of the matches in the first 2 matches. How important is him as a player for the national team, or overall wherever he plays?
He is the most important player in that French team. People don't realize that he does everything for them. He does all the blocking of the defense. So he's just in front of the defenders, helping those defenders to cope. Number one, he breaks up all the attacks. He's also great in going forward, and he gets, you know, passing. So for me, I couldn't understand why they didn't take him to the World Cup. He's always been one of my favorite players. Very unassuming, very quiet, very small, but he gets the job done. And I mean, some of the tackles he makes and the defensive work that he does for France allows your Mbappes, allows your Griezmann, allows players like that to play. They don't understand what a gem they got. I'm not too sure why they didn't have him at the World Cup.
Let's really hear your prediction. Switzerland against Italy. Where do you see this one going?
Extra time.
Extra time.
I think extra time. You know, the Swiss have been going well. As I say, the Italians always just seem to get it done. I think the Italians will get it done in extra time.
Germany against Denmark?
Germany. Have to be. Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
So you got it from Shane. He's saying that he believes that Italy will get it in extra time, and Germany will definitely advance to the next round of the UEFA Euro 2024. When you come back on the other side of this, we are joined by Jerry Skosana as you move from Europe and bring it all year home as you check out the PSL Awards.